Hello everyone, this is the big playset from at least the first wave of Season 9 LEGO Ninjago sets. It's the Dragon Pit. And in spite of the big parts count, in spite of the large size of all of this, I think there's less going on than meets the eye. And I also think that may be a good thing. Let's see. First of all, this Earth Dragon here is not one of the larger ones, that's for sure. Let me actually just grab Firstborn here to give you a quick size reference. Firstborn absolutely towers over this Earth Dragon. There's little comparison. I mean, I guess you can compare those, but yeah, it's a tremendous difference. But that's okay. You know, it's good to have diversity in not only color, but also shape and size. This does have the kind of short and stocky design that you're used to, just in overall appearance and overall stance for the Earth Dragons from Ninjago. This one actually has a fully posable tail, which can be seen as a good thing in some ways if you like being able to pose these up. You have a lot of posability with these kind of winglets here. I don't know if they will be actually used as wings in the show, or if they'll just be kind of stabilizers or just vestigial wings that kind of act as fingers and give a little bit of personality and show a little bit of mood there. But you know, they have some moving elements on them that you can pose around in different ways. And you have the same articulation with the legs as you do with the other dragons, with the larger dragons, where you can bring these way back, you can bring them forward, you can also splay them out this way. You can't do anything at the elbow or knee, but I'm okay with that. You know, it's stockier at the front, much larger at the front. Sand green is a nice color, and it goes well with the grays here. You know, usually they would go with a brown, but I think this works out pretty well. You get nicely built up toes here in the front with the little claws. It's a gray color. I don't think that's brand new, but it's possibly the newest color for that piece there, the modified 1x1 plate with the downward angled kind of claw or tooth on it. What I don't like about this one personally is the head. The overall shape I think is pretty cool. I like the texturing, especially along the center ridge here, and the build is cool, went together well. But this Anacondrae sword, the scimitar there, you know, chipped up scimitar, I don't like it. It just kind of, it doesn't work for me. It blocks too much of the eye, especially. Now, fortunately, I mean, it's easy enough to leave that off, maybe put in another detail here on the side or something. But like I said, I do like the overall shape of the head. Unfortunately, this is another printed piece that they've used for the eye here, and they used a mirrored one over on this side. Well, it's not completely mirrored. This one actually has damage through it. And again, that sword piece is just blocking some of it. That bugs me how much it blocks by default. But like I said, you can modify that if you want. You get the joint. I'm going to leave that sword off for the moment just to show you how the jaw can be brought all the way back, or you can just kind of leave it in more of a reasonable range here. It can also be sealed up completely closed like that. A little bit flat on the front, but that's okay. All right, let's put this back as it is intended to be there. And one thing that is distinctly different about this one from the bigger ones is that it does not have a detachable saddle there. So you do have a spot where you can put a figure, but you don't saddle this one up. Maybe this one does not get tamed. It can choose to allow you to ride it, but you never end up putting a saddle on it. Oh yeah, the head can also be moved up and down, and it's on a ball joint, so you can rotate it all around. Again, detail on the top of the head I like very much, just from that genuine Lego shaping, and some of the shaping around the sides, that kind of rocky style with the scales that they got in all the way around. There's a lot of jagged edges and such, so I think that works out pretty well. And then this structure build, it's a piece of an arena. You know, Lego has done things like this many times, but this one is rather different. There are so many pieces that went into this. It's a fairly complex build, but like I said, there really is less going on here, I think, than it looks like. There's a lot of depth. This is really surprising. This is something that they do not do frequently, giving you that much depth to a build. Normally, especially these days, they would have it be half that thickness at most. You see some gears here hooked up to a faux engine up on the top. Well, those actually turn and actually work. You use the knob down here. The minifigs just fire up the engine, and when you turn that, it's going to open the gates, both of them simultaneously. It actually goes all the way across, and it's so smooth. That action is beautiful. Look at that. It works so perfectly well. It doesn't get caught up at all. The motion has a nice flow to it. It accelerates a little bit, slows down towards the end. The gears being exposed, I think, is great. Being able to actually see those. I'm glad that they used gray gears. Nothing too bright and colorful. They even have a little bit of detail on the inside that's not even necessary. Just some of that little extra shaping there. You do see some funky colors in there, but overall that's not a bad look. And also the outsides of the gate elements are pretty nice, pretty nicely built up. They look proper, they look nicely detailed. They've got some stickers used for the wood grain detail on the edges, lots of spikes and things. And then up here you have the throne, which is a big dragon head, and that's just used to hold a single figure. Of course, that would be the Baron who would sit there. And you've got some banisters so other figures can stand around the edges, can be guards and henchmen and such. And you have enough room up here to actually place multiple figures. You can put a bunch of figures up here. You can even have fights up here. A little bit more so on the other side. Let me actually turn that all the way around so you can see that a little bit better. You can even put figures back in here. You can consider this to be a room. You've got a weapon rack over here and still enough space. Look at that fire extinguisher. That's funny in case things get out of hand a little bit with some of the pyrotechnics. They even have a suggestion for how figures can get up there. So this can be used as a ladder, can also just be used as a connection between two sections. So you can kind of see it as a little bit of a bridge, and they have one of those on either side. Even the roof up above, which really doesn't do much, it's just very ornate. It's very well built up. So you see how many pieces have gone into just this center build here. There's quite a bit to it. There's quite a bit of complexity of the build, but ultimately it doesn't do a lot. It gives you some structure upon which to place figures, and you can play with figures on it, but the only thing that this actually does is open and close the gates. That's it. And I think that's fine, because that gate opening and closing mechanism looks great and it works well, and they give you so much space to play with. I think this is a good thing. Now over here you have a watchtower. This also has more depth than you would normally see, especially these days on a structure set. You again have some stickers used down below, and you have enough room to have an actual blacksmith's shop in here with a forge. Look at that. There's an anvil, there are tools, you've got blades that are being worked on, blades that have been completed. They even have a hood and vent up above representing, a chimney. So a good level of detail. Barely enough room to put a figure in here, I'd say maybe on one side. But you can open this up a little bit. You can move some stuff around just a little bit. Just doing that immediately gives you room for a second figure. And this has a depth of 4 studs of usable space where figures can be placed in there compared to the usual 2. The next level up is actually the lookout perch itself. So you can place figures in there and have them man this telescope with sight up on top. Now it is difficult to get your fingers in there, and there is a limited amount of space to put figures in there, but it's very easy to just pull all of this down, place your figures in there. You can do that from the side. You can also do it from the front. That really opens things up quite a bit. I don't know why there's that gap in there, but yeah, it opens things up quite a bit. Close that up when you have your figures in place, and this can be angled up and down. It can be rotated around. There's a little bit of extra friction there, but it can be done. And then they also have nice roof elements around this, kind of the awning, the small roof bits, with nice builds that go all the way around. So normally, again, these days they would do on most sets a pretty front and a pretty half of a side, and maybe the other side as well, but this goes all the way back and then covers the back as well. So this doesn't look ugly from behind, and it doesn't look incomplete. Look at this. It's not open on the back. The lower level was, but this is pretty well closed up all the way around. It's like they designed it as if it was actually in universe, and the minifigures were really living and operating here. This is a turret with a couple of flick-fire missiles that are connected by a chain. That makes it a flick-fire bolo. They also have an extra missile over here, and this is an action feature. You don't have to use your fingers here. This is a simple little mechanism that just comes up and allows you to strike those and fire them off. And they fire off okay. That went about 2 feet away. There's probably some techniques with a little bit of practice you can make it work a little bit better. And there also is enough room for a single figure to stand there and to be operating the thing. So that's cool. Another thing that actually works, and it looks equally good from every angle all the way around. It is not designed to have just that one box art camera friendly side. This is a proper build, and you see how little it does. You have a turret there, you have a place to look out from there, and then you have a single room down here with a shop. But this used a lot of pieces. It took a while to build it. It's multiple sub-assemblies all put together. You don't do all that much with it, but it looks really good, and I think it works really well. They also made it so that either of these side builds can be easily removed, so you can just use these by themselves, and that highlights even more just how important it was that they did, make these look good from all angles if you're going to be using them independently. So it's not using the main build as a crutch here. Even this side that you don't really see at all is finished. The other side is a jail cell, and it is one of those things that is basically designed to hold just a single figure, and that's in the upper section. The lower section isn't really intended to be a permanent storage spot, but you can put people down there. But here again, a lot more depth than usual. It's probably almost twice as deep as they would usually do this, and it's covered up from the back. Now this one doesn't look that great here because they just have these two large panel pieces. At least they're not completely flat. Also notice this space over here has some different texturing, some different shaping, even though it's not really the pretty part. Now you can move this module back a little bit to cover up some of these holes. They're a little bit unsightly, but like I say, you can kind of change that up yourself a little bit if you want. But at least this is covered up from the back, and they do still allow you to get easy enough access into the jail cell. This can open up part way. I guess it's not that great. It's enough. The idea here is that you would place a figure down in there. This works well enough because I can get my fingers in from either side. That is an action feature that again does not use a bright red or bright yellow knob. It kind of fits in with the color scheme, and yet it's still obvious enough, and this works pretty well. It has a dual action, so it's going to open the gate and activate a trap door. So Cole is in there right now. He's standing loosely on top of something. As I just rotate this out, he falls down into this lower space. Now I can close that back up and keep him down there. And I think that's about it. I was thinking this might swivel on its own. It actually doesn't. It's clipped in place. So you can keep somebody up above, you can keep somebody down below, but the idea is that it's kind of a holding cell up here, and then when they're ready to be released into the arena, you just open this in one fell swoop. Pardon the pun there. They fall down, and then they come out. They even finished the interior of that lower kind of cave space, kind of dungeon space. Like the floor of it has tiling on it, and they've got smooth, rounded, curved pieces going all the way out to the edges, even where you don't normally see. So there's a lot of finish on this set that is normally not included, and I don't know, I appreciate it. Not all of it is really necessary, but gosh, it's there and it's good. The figures, I did build a lot of them with left-handed stances just because they were shown that way in the instructions. Not a big deal to swap weapons between hands as you wish. Cole and Kai here, same versions used throughout this series, but as you will see, this one set does include the full ninja team that went over to the other side, to the other realm. And there are their angry faces, and also their alternates, their happy faces. Jay and Zane here, Zane with his black quiver and black bow and arrow, the old style one. Jay has his sickle and chain weapon hanging there, a little bit built up, but again, same ones that you'll see in other sets. There we go, made it past. Nothing else new to be seen. Jay gets his alternate happy face. No such thing for Zane because he has the port on the back of his head. Needs that to be visible for when he's using hair, but they don't include hair in this set. And there are their main angry faces. This last good guy figure is a bit of a spoiler, but as I always say, if you don't want any spoilers for TV shows and movies that have not yet been released, you must not watch videos about products that are taken straight from those shows and movies. So here we go. I'm going to release focus here and give the spoiler last chance to click away from the video. This is the Dragon Master, and yeah, it's Wu. Dragon Master Wu there. Teen Wu, I guess, still. And he gets all of the stuff. So this is the complete figure. If you get this set, if you get the big set, you get all of the ninja, and you get Wu, and you get all of the dragon bone stuff. The armor, the shield, the sword there, the whole thing. You even get the standard, the little flag on the back. So that's pretty cool. It's a valuable figure, I would say. And it looks good. It looks pretty proper. This does still have the older color of pearl gold, as you can see for the helmet there. I think eventually all of these will have the same color. I believe the color of the body and of the armor piece there, the dragon head armor piece, is the new pearl gold. I think they're actually switching to this as the new color. That kind of reminds me, that torso print kind of reminds me of some of the castle stuff, some of the more recent castle theme stuff. But again, here you see gold print used on the back of the torso in addition to the gold color beneath. So where you see it shining more, that's actually additional print. And then there's that main Wu face. And again, more gold print on the front. Some of the details are a little bit subtle. I think that looks pretty nice. I think this is a pretty good collectible kind of chase figure, highly desirable figure. But again, it's Wu. Moving over to the bad guys, on the left here is the main bad guy, as we know it so far, for Season 9. It's the Iron Baron, and he has his full gear on with the Tanto blade sheathed on his chest. He has his cybernetic arm or cyborg arm, robot arm on one side, and he has the staff. So he has everything that he can have officially. And on the right is a character named Arcade, spelled with a K. Exclusive print for the welder's helmet or mask there. Exclusive torso print for this character, I believe. Uses the same hip and leg piece or pieces as most of the villains this time around. It'll be interesting to see if that coin-op jackpot spinner is either on his chest or in his chest. If it's actually built in, that would be interesting as well. He has a couple of tools, and let's start taking some of this stuff off. No alternate face for either of these, unfortunately, but some pretty good prints on the backs of their torsos, and here are their main faces, so just a generic one for Arcade. This character is Heavy Metal by name. He has the Vengestone chain rifle there that is used for trying to capture, or at least grab onto the dragons as they fly past, so there's a good bit of chain actually attached to that. It doesn't actually physically fire off, but you can definitely use your imagination there. And it's a pretty good looking figure overall. Again, they do reuse some prints between these, but at least this guy does have a double-sided head. He also has a Tanto blade that is inserted from underneath on this reversed upper armor and pauldron piece. And here's how things look with some of that removed, so hopefully nothing is obscured. The print does get interrupted on either side, so it doesn't continue all the way around. That's too bad, but it's just how they do it. They print from the front, they print from the back, they don't print from the sides on minifigures generally. And that's it for that figure. And finally, this is Chew Toy. He's just called Chew Toy. It's his name. So yeah, he's the guy with the bait. It's nice that they give him a shield, but obviously he still gets beaten up quite badly as he takes the bait out to the dragons. But I guess comic relief there is always a good thing. No print on the back of that breastplate, chest plate piece, but overall a pretty good looking figure. I look forward to seeing what his personality is like. And he just uses shared pieces for the torso and the hips and the legs once again, and there's no alternate face for this figure either. A little bit down on detail. I've mentioned that before, just looking at the print for the torso here compared to what I'm used to. All told, this is a pretty nice set with, again, just far less gimmicky action features than I'm used to in recent days, and just more depth, more actual structure that you can use. It's very, very different, and I feel a little bit uneasy about this because I want to be really excited about this if it's a new direction, if they're moving towards giving us more bulk, more actual structure in big structure builds. But I have a feeling that this may just be an experiment. They may have put this out and they may be looking for feedback from actual consumers, not so much folks like myself, reviewers and such, but the kids who actually end up playing with this and seeing how they respond to this versus how they've responded to previous sets, even specifically from the Ninjago series that have been, very thin and had just enough room on the back to barely fit one figure deep. One figure there, one figure there, one figure there, and that's it. But this is just clearly a different direction with less gimmicky action features. It just has one shooter up here. It has the gates that can open and close, and it has the door with the trap door that opens and closes here. And that's pretty much it. Typically for a set with this many pieces, they nowadays would have shooters all over the place, and multiple trap doors and hidden compartments and things, little things. But this is more massive and it's more substantive with less little things that do stuff. I think that's fine. I think that's actually good personally, just my personal opinion. But what's really going to matter is feedback from end users, end consumers. I am one, but I'm just one person and I'm a reviewer, so I'm not the target market for Lego. If you like this direction that they've gone with more room to actually play on this structure, more complete builds all the way around from all angles and not just that one main box art camera friendly angle, let that be known not only in the comments on this video, but if you end up getting this set, put up a review on Lego's shop, say something about it on their Facebook page. Let your feedback be heard by Lego itself, because I think they need to hear that feedback if this is something that is important to you. If it's not, let that be known as well. It's good to get the information out there. Price to part ratio on this set is ridiculously good. I can't believe they did this big set with such a good objective value, and they have so many figures, the full good guy team, and a good range from the bad guy side as well. The full armor set. You don't need to collect anything more. I think they're going to continue doing that. They did that with the Vermilion, the big set for that one as well. Just a lot of stuff was done properly, and I feel just better than usual by far, in my opinion, with this set. There you go. That's the Dragon Pit. That's what I think about it. Feel free to share what you think about it in the comments, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching.